So now that Wonder Woman is finally playing worldwide, well, to the best of its abilities, stupid pandemic. Who knew that would be one of Wonder Woman's worst enemies? And ours. Oh, it's sad because it's real. But anyway, it's time to finally discuss Wonder Woman 3. Now, Patty Jenkins decided she didn't really want to play the cinematic universe building game. But that's okay, Patty. We'll play it for you. We're experts at this point. And I think there are some paths forward. But because it's DC, of course, there's already drama. We've got an RT score that's dropping, damn it, and complications with Patty Jenkins' availability going forward. So first, we're going to talk about the behind-the-scenes situation, put on our business hats. Well, we're really wearing our business hats for this entire video, because we're talking about development too. And then we will discuss creative. So I think the biggest question surrounding Wonder Woman 3 is, will Patty Jenkins direct it? Just a few weeks ago, I was talking to one of my sources who told me that Patty Jenkins has complete control over all things Wonder Woman, even beyond her own movies. You know, she's in charge of the characters as they exist within the entire DCEU. For instance, Warner Brothers, I hear, is considering bringing Steve Trevor back again via Flashpoint, where the Flash saves him from the plane explosion just in the nick of time, yoink, and maybe stashes Steve on Themyscira, where he doesn't age. That's one idea that they're considering. I mean, they can't make Steve the Kenny of the DCEU, right? Where every movie he comes back and then he dies. That would be hilarious. That's a funny comedy sketch, but we don't want to actually see it in the movies. Some previs, I hear, is being done on that suggested sequence. Previs, if you don't know, is where they use animations, like visual effects style animations to kind of show you how a scene would look. It's used for a number of things. It's used to it's a substitution for storyboards these days, but also a lot of people use it to kind of experiment to see if something looks cool. They're like, oh yeah, I think fans would be really excited about that. I've been talking about previs a little bit now. For instance, I told you that they were planning doing previs on Spider-Man 3, where all three Spider-Men would swing into Times Square. And they're like, oh, does this look cool? Let's take a look. You don't have to actually film anything. So they're doing previs on that to show to Patty Jenkins, because she has to be like, oh. So in that case, previs doesn't have to impress, anybody but Patty Jenkins. She has to be like, oh, I like this for Steve. Okay, check mark. But that was like a few weeks ago. Now we're talking about today, and Wonder Woman 1984's RT score and Metacritic scores are low and continuing to drop. Is this Joker all over again? I mean, that has a 68 Rotten Tomatoes score. Ridiculous! That was a case where some critics simply just didn't get it, or are just out for DC blood. Some people just for some reason have a real problem with DC. But maybe, so that might be the case. But then again, we've seen already so far that China does not care for the film. Their audience score has been dropping. I talked about it on Movie Math, and it's dropped lower than that. It's like in the 6s last I saw. And the box office internationally so far has been soft. And some of you who've seen the movie already have been tweeting me and have said that you had some problems with it. I think let's be diplomatic here. I mean, there's undeniably a lot of good in the movie. Now, the biggest complaint so far seemed to be a lack of action and a cartoonish tone. And in her recent interviews, Patty Jenkins has been very vocal about fighting for the lack of action and that cartoonish tone, telling Warner Brothers to trust her. And Warner Brothers did. Warner Brothers is like, we can't win. Either we meddle or we're too trusting. Damn it. But with Patty Jenkins booked for the foreseeable future with Cleopatra at Paramount, also with Gal Gadot, and then Rogue Squadron over at Disney, well, that would give Warner Brothers an out to use another director, blaming it on availability. They would be like, well, we just want to move forward faster with Wonder Woman 1984. Patty Jenkins isn't available. We're going to try someone else out, and then we'll go back to Patty. That's how you could handle it very diplomatically. Patty Jenkins could maybe even be a producer if she's willing to, I think, accept the very, very clear notes that are being given here by fans. I mean, I want to be clear here. I think Patty Jenkins is clearly a very talented director. A lot of things are clear here. I think she's really good. I think she's improved exponentially since the first Wonder Woman. I think the problem is not her skill, but her choices. I think that she doesn't know what audiences overall are looking for in a comic book movie to make a successful one. I don't think anybody would argue that a lot of Wonder Woman is not well done. It's missing the elements to get people really jazzed and to see it multiple times, in theaters if this were normal circumstances. I think even Wonder Woman 1984's most ardent supporters, like myself, would acknowledge that these issues are an issue. And that in this case, Warner Brothers was right to be nervous when they saw the film coming together. I would love to have Patty Jenkins stay on as the director, if possible, and just have her make these changes. Again, take these notes. But considering how she was so reluctant to take on Warner Brothers' notes in the first film, as she also recently revealed, to put in an action sequence in the third act, and she didn't really put her best foot forward there, it seems, well, I would be nervous about that. So I think, it would be like, are you willing to make, I love what Wonder Woman 1984 has. I guess I would love to take the best parts of both of these two movies now and make a third film that's absolutely perfect, to be honest, quite frankly. So do you think Patty Jenkins should direct Wonder Woman 3? Or would you give someone else a whirl, in a positive way? Patty Jenkins has revealed that she and Jeff Johns had outlined a third film, but has also admitted herself recently in interviews that it'll be a while until she's available, so she'll probably scrap that. She said, who knows what the world will be like at that time? But I think she's also probably trying to distance herself from Jeff Johns with all the recent, Ray Fisher, situation, and that Warner Brothers did do an investigation. And also she's suddenly distancing herself from Justice League and even Warner Brothers a little bit. She's had some very aggressive words against Warner Brothers. I would wait until you see your full box office numbers before trash talking people, Patty. I think that's an odd strategy. All right, so anyway, because you just never know how it's going to go. Now, as for creative, again, Patty Jenkins didn't plant a lot of seeds for Wonder Woman going forward, but she did plant a few. So here's what we got. Barbara never rescinded her wish. Now, sure, Max rescinded his wish to be the wishing stone, so that's why she lost her cheetah powers. Because, I think that some of you pointed out it wasn't made particularly clear, because in my spoiler review, I was like, no way everybody rescinded their wish. But once Max rescinded it, well, then I think that negated everybody else's wish made afterwards. But not before. Remember, Barbara wished to be like Diana when the wishing stone was still a stone. So that presumably would still be in place, which means she not only has all of Wonder Woman's powers and ability to walk in high heels. That's supposed to be her amazing balance. But anyway, it would also mean that she's now immortal. Well, not immortal, but has the slowed aging process that Diana does. And we'll talk about more Amazons in just a moment. But if Wonder Woman 3 were to jump forward to modern times, Barbara could totally be around and look the same. Do you want to see Kristen Wiig continue as Barbara? I don't know how they could recast. And she didn't really get a fair shot at playing the character, to be honest, but I don't really know if she has it in her to deliver what I think people were hoping for. Also, the end credit scene. It's a cute wink of an end credit scene, but there's something here that we can use. It reveals, of course, that another Amazon lives amongst men and women, and that's Lynda Carter Asteria, the Amazon who originally donned the golden armor and stayed back to get the crap beaten out of her while everyone else escaped, and then she's been stuck around ever since. I don't know how she lost her armor. I'm sure there's a story there. Asteria could get her own HBO Max show. She could be part of the Amazon show that Patty Jenkins keeps teasing. Does she go back to the island? And she's like, wow, it's shockingly still the same here. Well, man's world has progressed exponentially. What story does she have? She's been around since Greek mythology days. So anyway, or I think we would love to see this. Asteria could show up in Wonder Woman 3 and work with Diana because, come on, we got to have an action scene, emphasis on action scene, where they fight side by side. Who doesn't want to see that? Could Asteria take Steve's place as Wonder Woman's unofficial sidekick? Not a bad idea. I love me some Steve, but I've seen some of you say that it would be nice to see Diana stand on her own without Steve for just one movie. And I see the positives in that. I think that as much as I love them together, you don't want your female, big action hero never able to walk her own path. And you know what? In the comics, Steve has walked his own path as well. He's worked with Amanda Waller, done a little work with Suicide Squad, and I think it would be very cool to see Steve do his own thing for a movie. I would love to see that for Chris Pine to go and interact with some other characters in the DCEU if he's brought up to current times. Now, back to Barbara. If she wants to turn back into Cheetah, she and we, again, only got a taste well then hello, this is the perfect moment for Circe to enter, right? Now, Circe, of course, is based on the enchantress from Greek mythology, who infamously turned men into animals in Homer's The Odyssey. Turned men into animals? How about a woman into a cheetah? It's perfect! I mean, there are a lot of Wonder Woman villains. We'd love to see Veronica Cale, played by Charlize Theron. There are a lot of really good characters. But now that we've got a Barbara Minerva who needs to be cheetah-fied again, not only is Circe the perfect person to do that, but Circe doing it, since she specializes in, again, turning people into animals, it would make more sense that she would turn Barbara into an animal than Max doing it, which is what happened. So I think that would be fantastic. In the Wonder Woman comics, Circe is one of Diana's most powerful and visually interesting villains. And on that note, she'd be able to plus Wonder Woman 3's action sequences and VFX in a very unique and exciting way. Oh, that would be fantastic. It would also be great to see the lead villain in a Wonder Woman movie, the lead villain, be a woman. So far, they've been the sidekicks. So it could be Wonder Woman and Asteria versus Cheetah and Circe, which would be really cool and super on brand for Wonder Woman. Oh, I would love that. Finally, the Wonder Woman movies, let's be honest, they need some more diversity. I know some of you don't like to hear this, but I'm telling you, as everybody in Hollywood knows, if you really want a blockbuster to do well these days, it would behoove you to have a diverse cast. Some blockbusters have gotten away with it, but I think, and so is Wonder Woman, at least to date. But I do think that there are characters they can bring in that would fix this problem. So Etta Candy, or a descendant of Etta Candy, has been race-bet in the comics and reimagined as Wonder Woman's modern-day military contact. And then, of course, there are the Amazons, General Philippus, very popular. It's a shame. General Philippus has been around for a very long time and has been somewhat prevalent in the comics. For her not to be more prominent in the Themyscira scenes has been an odd choice, in my opinion. So, she showed up in the first movie briefly, but let's fix this. So we'd like to have some more General Philippus around. And Nubia from the comics. She's not been around too much, but they're bringing her back in a major way. And they're also introducing a new Amazon from Brazil, because Brazil loves Wonder Woman. That's Yara Flor. She's going to start out as Wonder Girl in the current timeline, although we'll see her in the DC upcoming Future State comics as a full-blown Wonder Woman. But any of those characters could be added to the next movie. I know it's getting a little crowded, but this, they had a lot of characters in this last one. They could do it. Also, we do need to have a male character in the mix. It could be mostly women, but we need a male character here. And maybe, if you go with one of the Amazons of color, you could have the Wonder Woman military contact be a man played by an actor of color. I think that would be really great. It would be a very nice, it would be a nice break from Steve, who has been the male lead in the first two films. So I think those are some great choices. Based off of Wonder Woman 1984, I think that's the clear direction to go here. But Patty Jenkins intentionally didn't really build anything. I've seen some people describe this as a bit of a side adventure, and I think that's true. Max lost his powers. Where's he going to find another wishing stone? Although I would love to see him come back. Although it's kind of hard now that he's stuck in the 80s. He'd obviously have to be played, or, I don't know if they want to spend the money to age up Pedro Pascal, but, I don't really know if that character can realistically, the Flash is just going to go and grab everybody? Maybe. So anyway, what would you like to see happen with Wonder Woman 3 going forward, both in front of it within the film itself and behind the scenes? Share your thoughts down below. Subscribe today, and of course, I hope you'll join me when I rewatch Wonder Woman as a watch-along party with anyone who wants to join. Members can comment during the stream, and that'll be this Sunday, December 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and anyone who can join who has their own copy of the film. All right, see you then, and you can check out some more videos right now.